if you consider whatever's in your bank right now, whatever you have as a monthly income, and you add a zero at the end of it, your monthly income, you add a zero at the end of it, do you think that's possible? Just ask yourself that question. And the reason why I'm sharing this is I had a call recently, somebody who wanted to work with me and get some help with me in terms of like how I can support them with the growth of their recruitment business. And they said to me that there'll be another video on my channel where I spoke to somebody who has got some help, and he said, I asked the question, what do you believe is possible in your recruitment business now, knowing what you know now? And he said 20 grand a month. And for a lot of people, that sounds insane, okay? And that's because at every level that you are at, it does sound insane. Like the next step up does take a little bit more, and it takes a lot out of you to actually understand what is required in the next step. So if I zoom back to a point in time where I was a student, and I look back at that moment in time, I remember working part-time. I was making probably about 12 grand a year, and at the time getting to 20 grand in a year was, whoa, this is insane. And then one day 30k in a year, and then one day 50k in a year, and all of this was just like little steps along the way for what is possible and what I could achieve. And when I got to a point where I was making more, had I known what I known, I would have just done everything that was required to make it soon. Obviously there's other factors that come into play, like how quickly you can actually achieve it, but I'm just talking about the mental element here, like what is actually possible. And the only reason, whatever number you have in mind, or whether you do or don't believe that you can add an extra zero to your monthly income, the only reason why you do or don't believe it's possible is because you don't understand the mechanics of how it comes together. Because if you did, then that would be your target, like that would be something that you're working towards. And this video that I recorded, you can find it on my channel. This guy who he started his business basically working part-time, and he quit his full-time job, and now he's going all in on his recruitment business. If you just consider his story and his journey, let's stop here for a minute. If you just consider that, he's really confident that he can make 20k a month. And that level of confidence that he has come from the fact that he's seen how close he is to making that. In fact, he did do it 1 month, and now he believes he can make it a little bit more consistency. And the only reason why is because he understands the mechanics of how it all comes together. So now, if you don't understand the mechanics of how everything comes together, so that you could just add an extra zero onto your monthly income, then that's something that's worth looking into. Because if you had known how to do it, then you would have just cracked on with it and you would have been doing it. So now, when you're considering this in the space of recruitment, in recruitment, there are a lot of businesses out there, 10, 15, 20, even 100 times more successful than mine. And for me, once upon a time, 10, 15, even 20 grand a month would have been a goal to achieve. More recently, we have a lot of 6-figure months, and it comes very normally. So now my expectations of business and how I approach things, 10 grand a month is just not even a target. It doesn't excite me anymore. And for those people who do get on calls with me and they say, look, we watched this video and this guy is really confident saying that he's going to make 20 grand a month, and for us we've got this target of 10 grand a month. I always say the same thing, and that is, if you were working for me and you set the goal of making 10 grand a month, I probably wouldn't hire you, or I'd sack you if you did do that, because that's a slightly underperforming employee in our team. I have employees that work for me where very regularly I'm basically sending paychecks of above 10 grand a month. So these are employees that are working for me, and believe you me, like setting up your own business and aiming to make 10 grand a month, it's not worth the stress or the headache. There are jobs that pay that amount of money. So in recruitment, there's a lot of talk online about making 10 grand a month. Like it's not a respectable number in recruitment. You've got to be aiming for double that at least, because otherwise there's just easier jobs out there to make that kind of money. So recruitment is tough, it has its challenges, but there's also growth phases that come into it. So there's a few things I wanted to cover in this video. One is, if you don't believe improving your billings or income in your recruitment business is possible, it's only because you don't know how. And when I look at my business, to me, doing $1 million a month in my recruitment business sounds a bit far-fetched. I do believe it is possible. I don't know how to make it happen though. So I disguise it by saying I don't believe it's possible. But actually what's really true is that I don't know how to do it. Do I know how to make 6 figures? Yeah. Do I have the confidence in the way that we built the business that we can do a lot more than that, maybe even 2, 3, 4x the monthly business revenue? Do I believe it? Yeah, I do, because I can see the growth possibilities without the bottlenecks coming into play. Whereas at each stage of your journey, whether you're aiming for 10 a month, whether you're aiming for 20, 50, 100, you have different bottlenecks and different challenges that you're coming in. And the first one is just your belief. Do you believe that it's even possible? And in most cases, the only reason why you don't believe it's possible is because you don't know how. So figure out how to do it. Like, there's plenty of videos on my YouTube channel where I explain exactly how everything comes together. So go and do that. Believe that it is possible, because it is. And if you don't know, or you don't believe it's possible, just accept that it is, because look at the biggest recruitment companies out there, and they make millions a week. So it is possible, it can happen, just don't know how. So learn how to do it, take the steps in the right direction, and make it happen. Because if you did, then you would have already implemented it, and if you didn't, then we just need to accept that you don't, and you've got to put it all together and make it all happen. So if you would like my help, then I left some details below on how I can support you with that, and what part of the journey. If you can't, it's cool, but I wanted to share that lesson there, that whatever you think is possible is purely based on your own beliefs, whether they are limiting beliefs or whether they are optimistic beliefs. Everything is possible based on whatever you think and believe, beyond the laws of physics, obviously. So go ahead and do whatever you think is possible. So if you have the expectation that you want to be targeting yourself at a certain level of income, whether that's 5, 10, 15, 20k a month, there's somebody out there who's making more, and people out there who are making less. And one part of it is putting all the mechanics together, but the most important part is understanding how it all comes together. Because if you don't understand how it all comes together, then you're never going to be able to do it. And if you do understand how it all comes together, then you should be taking action on putting it all together. So that is all for now. I'll see you in the next video.